This month of June is going to be a month of positive intensity. I really like this energy throughout June. We're going to have a really beautiful couple of cazimis that is going to provide us some downloads, some insights, some positive energy to set us forth into this rest of this year ahead. We are tuning in to the winter solstice here in the southern hemisphere and the summer solstice in the northern hemisphere. So this month of June is a transitional month from going through spring and autumn into summer and winter, and really leaning into this new energy that is coming through. There's a lot of revisiting happening towards the end of the month. We're going to be transitioning into the retrograde seasons with Saturn stationing retrograde at the end of the month. Hi friends, and welcome back to my channel. And in today's video we are going to be talking about all of the transits that are happening throughout the month of June and how they will be affecting your chart based on your rising sign. But before we get into that, hi, I'm Alex. I'm an astrologer based in Aotearoa, New Zealand. And in my channel, I like to talk about the transits and things that are happening throughout the sky each month. And I like to break it down really simply so you can understand it and understand where it will be happening in your individual chart based on your rising sign. I also provide personal one-on-one readings through my website, www.venusinvirgoastrology.com, and you can find me on all social media platforms at Venus in Virgo Astrology. I'm super active over on Instagram, so definitely check me out over there. Click follow. I'd love to connect with you, and if you'd like to book a personal reading with me, you can check out the link in my Instagram bio, which will take you to my website, and you can check out all of the digital products that I have available so we can connect and I can look at your chart on an individual level and give you an accurate, precise, detailed reading for your individual placements. But let's get into these transits that are happening throughout the month of June. So it starts kicking off on the 3rd of June. We have Mercury sextiling Neptune in Pisces just before Mercury moves into its home sign of Gemini. So Mercury's finally moved out of its retrograde shadow period. It's starting to speed up again. It's moving into its home sign, but before it does, it makes a positive aspect to Neptune in Pisces. This is a wonderful energy for tuning in to your intuition, to your creative ideas, to your creative thinking. I really love this energy for channeling some artistic energy or artistic projects that you may have had on the back burner or wanted to get started, or just leaning into this somewhat intuitive and divine energy that might be coming through to you on this date as Mercury then moves into Gemini. It loves being in Gemini. Obviously it's one of its home sign placements, so with Mercury being in Gemini, it is really attuned to the intellectual energy that is around us. We're likely feeling sharper we're likely feeling more clear and concise on what we're wanting to achieve, where we're wanting to go, how we want to express ourselves, how we want to communicate ourselves with the world around us. So there is this really nice energy to start the month off with Mercury being in such a strong placement, moving through its home sign of Gemini. On the 3rd of June, we have Jupiter in Gemini trining Pluto retrograde in Aquarius. So this energy is maybe helping us to look at the bigger picture and what we need to uncover or bring to the surface. It's providing some sort of positive healing energy or positive energy to some more difficult or challenging things that might be bubbling up to the surface for us with Pluto retrograding into Capricorn, and it's going back through some challenging aspects with it being in Aquarius. So there is this revisitation of some sort of healing or some sort of thing that we need to look at, but it's a positive energy. Trine is a really nice energy. It's a subtle energy, like we're not going to feel it as intensely as we're going to feel, say, a challenging energy like a square, but this is an energy where we need to take advantage of it. So it's a positive energy to put some time aside, put some energy into learning, diving deeper, uncovering things that you maybe were not wanting to look at or put into the side or had kind of bubbled up to the surface for you that you're like, oh, I'll look at that later. Like, that's not a focus for me right now. This is a great time to focus on that. This is a great time to look at the bigger picture when it comes to where we're needing to heal or change things or revisit things in our life that need healing. Then on the 4th of June, this date is so much is happening on the 4th of June. I don't know where to start. So we first off have the Sun in Gemini forming a sextile to the North Node in Aries and a trine to the South Node in Libra. So we're likely feeling at this point in our journey this year, we've had a lot of things and opportunities come up for us with the eclipses, with the nodes in Aries and Libra. I feel like this transit of the Sun making a sextile to the North Node and a trine to the South Node, this is this positive energy where we're actually ready to take action. The eclipses brought through this change energy that maybe we're starting to see take hold on a positive level, on a positive scale. We're starting to maybe feel like we can really apply ourselves and embody this new energy or this new version or this new way of life that we're wanting to bring into our lives and wanting to bring into our reality, that we're maybe ready to let go finally of what needs to be cut off, what needs to be fully put away and ended, closed off, but in a good way. We're likely feeling energized through that. We're likely feeling like we're able to really refocus our energy on where we're wanting to be headed for these upcoming months ahead. Then we have Venus in Gemini, sextile the North Node and trine the South Node. So there's this really positive push and positive supporting energy that is helping us make these decisions, helping us put our energy into things that matter for us, helping us apply ourselves to situations or groups or relationships that feel more aligned, or taking ourselves out of relationships that don't feel aligned and focusing on our own individual needs. The North Node in Aries is very much focusing on what we need, what we as an individual need to move forward and to be feeling like we're achieving what we're wanting to achieve. We also have Mercury in Gemini trining Pluto in Aquarius. So we're likely wanting to talk about, maybe, and discuss or communicate or express where we're needing to heal, what we're needing to do, putting into place plans that we're wanting to put into action going forth. We're likely feeling like, with Jupiter also trining Pluto at the same time around the 3rd and 4th of June and throughout this week, like I said, that transits aren't just on this one particular day. The energy usually lasts, depending on the planet, a few days or a few weeks or a few months, or yeah. So this energy is happening around the same time of Jupiter in Gemini trining Pluto in Aquarius. So we've got Jupiter, we've got Mercury trining Pluto retrograde in Aquarius. We're really wanting to communicate and express things that maybe we weren't ready to. We're ready to finally talk about or finally put into play these things that we're wanting to heal, or these changes that we're ready to finally make. Now that we've sort of revisited them, or we're wanting to revisit them, or wanting to look at them in a really positive way. Then we also have Mercury in Gemini joining Jupiter in Gemini. So again, it's this merging of this energy trying to Pluto in Aquarius in retrograde. Well, it's like this positive potency energy that we're ready to we're ready to do this. We're ready to go forth. We've got this luck and this just positive energy surrounding us, this optimism. But again, as I always say, with Jupiter transits, it's important to just not make sure that we're not overdoing it. Jupiter expands anything it touches, so we might be feeling super fired up, super ready to just go. Gemini is a very quick moving energy. It's an air energy. It's an air sign ruled by Mercury. It's communicative. It loves to bounce ideas, and your mind might be going a million times an hour with this transit, and you're maybe even overthinking things to the point where it could be somewhat detrimental. But it's a positive energy nevertheless, so just lean into this energy, what's coming up for you around this date, and we'll be looking at where this is hitting in your chart for each rising sign coming up. But the 4th of June is going to be an interesting date. On the 5th of June, we have Venus in Gemini conjoining the Sun in Gemini. This is a Venus cazimi, and this is a superior conjunction. So the difference between an inferior and a superior conjunction doesn't mean that one is better than the other. It just means the different placements of where the planets are. So for example, for this Venus conjunction to the Sun, this Venus cazimi is a superior conjunction. That means that Venus is behind the Sun from the Earth. If it was an inferior conjunction, which is the last cazimi, the most recent cazimi we had with Venus and the Sun in Gemini, Venus would be between the Sun and the Earth. So this is the difference between the last Venus cazimi that we had and this Venus cazimi. And the energies for the inferior conjunction is like somewhat to a new moon type of energy. It's subtle, it's a little bit more unseen. It's not as external or intense as a superior conjunction. So this superior conjunction is going to be more of like a full moon type of energy. So it's going to be out there. It's going to be visible. It's going to be intense. It's going to be in our faces. We're really going to see this energy tangibly. So the last time we had a Venus cazimi in Gemini was June of 2020. So it was actually on June 3rd of 2020. So this was an inferior conjunction. So this was more subtle. So have a think about to June 2020 and what was happening in your life. Maybe these themes or energies might be coming up in a more positive or a more, not so much positive, a more tangible way or a more expressive way or a more out there kind of energy. The last superior conjunction that we had with Venus in Gemini was on the 6th of June 2016. So if you think back to June 2016, what was happening for you then? What energies were big, loud, in your face? So you can kind of think back and have a look at these different cycles that were happening for you specifically, individually in your chart, and you might be able to see or predict what might be happening for you around the 5th of June. So then we move on to the 7th of June, where we have our new moon in Gemini. So this new moon will be happening at 16 degrees and 17 minutes of Gemini. This new moon has a lot of positive trine energy, similar to the last new moon and full moon that we had last month. I feel like this energy of this new moon in Gemini is like this fresh start. As we know, new moons are a time of introspection. They're a time of surrender. They're a time of letting go, a time of not so much letting go as in a full moon, but a time of just sort of like surrendering to what's happening. It's a dark moon phase. You might be low energy. You might be needing to retreat for a while because you have this very intense energy, but in a positive way, because we have a strong trine to the south node in Libra and a strong trine to Pluto retrograde in Aquarius. Both very much transformative letting go energy. Pluto in retrograde is very much an internal letting go energy, whereas the south node is maybe a bit more external, a bit more pulling away from situations or relationships in your life that are no longer working. So this is a new moon where we're really going to be visiting that. We're really going to be looking at that. I feel like this new moon is carrying the themes that we sort of thought or talked about or looked at during the Taurus new moon. There's a lot of similarities with this new moon. We have Jupiter and Venus in the sign of Gemini. Obviously Venus isn't in her home sign, but we do also have Mercury in its home sign of Gemini, sandwiched between the two benefics like we had with the new moon in Taurus. So have a think about what was happening in that new moon in Taurus last month, and these energies might be coming up again for you to really think about and to maybe put into place or to put into action with a lot of this moving forward energy. We're going to have a square happening to Saturn in Pisces. So this energy will be a little challenging. There's something that we're needing to look at, let go of, restructure when it comes to wherever this new moon is happening in our chart. We're maybe needing to communicate and express more boundaries that maybe we felt have been crossed with certain relationships or people or situations in our lives. We're maybe ready to finally cut the cords that we need to move on, to start afresh, to start this new energy. We're sort of closing off the spring or autumn energy wherever you are in the world. We're ready to sort of shed this, let go, refocus, reset our goals for this next new few months ahead, leading into the winter or summer solstice. So this is a nice new moon. I do think there is a lot of positive energy here. We've got a nice sextile to the north node, Chiron, and Mars in Aries. So we're likely feeling invigorated and inspired to move forward, to take action, and to achieve the goals we want to achieve. Mars is forming a square to Pluto retrograde in Aquarius. So there is some sort of challenging decision or action that we might need to take. Maybe feels more personally like tough or challenging, but I feel like it's for the greater good and it's for our healing. We're needing to let go and cut something out of our lives. Again, Pluto in Aquarius, and retrograde is very much internal, but we've also got the strong square to Saturn energy in Pisces. So there is still this really strong, there's a challenge that we're needing to overcome here. So there might be a little bit of a challenging energy, but it is well supported. We have a lot of positive energy in this new moon, although challenging it may be. And then on the 8th of June, we have Venus in Gemini square Saturn in Pisces. So this energy is maybe a little challenging. Things have been coming up for us to do with our finances or our relationships. We may be starting to feel some sort of challenge, or we may be feeling restricted or held back in some way when it comes to achieving or doing the things we're wanting to do. With Venus in Gemini, it's very quick moving energy. So maybe we're wanting to make that purchase or splurge or deepen that relationship in some way. We're ready to move into this next level or this next stage in this relationship. But Saturn is maybe holding us back a little bit, maybe asking us to review the situation or review what we need, what we're wanting to move forward on. Maybe take our time, slow down, look at the obstacles or challenges that are coming up, and are they red flags, or are we actually ready to progress forward? So there's a lot of restrictive energy maybe happening around the 8th, although it is involving Venus, so it is still a positive energy, but there is this needing to slow down and revisit something. Slow down, take our time. Saturn is going to start stationing retrograde soon, so it's just out of that retrograde shadow period. So maybe this is going to get revisited a little bit when Saturn stations direct. It possibly won't be exactly, but there will be this, whatever's coming up now, there could be this energy of revisiting this when Saturn stations direct later in the year. On the 9th of June, Mars moves into Taurus. Mars in Taurus is slow and steady wins the race. Mars in Taurus is very much focused on not making risky decisions. So maybe this energy of Venus in Gemini square Saturn and Pisces was readying us for this Mars and Taurus energy. We're not wanting to take risks. We're wanting to go slow and steady. We might be feeling a little bit held back to make the decisions or to start this new thing. We're maybe feeling a little bit slow to get off the mark, slow to get going. This is this energy of Mars and Taurus. So Mars and Taurus is a little bit challenged for Mars. It doesn't like to slow down. So with Mars and Taurus, it's very much like taking our time, knowing that slow and steady wins the race, even though, can I say that enough with this sort of energy? This is a potent energy for longevity, for really setting ourselves up for success, for really just focusing on our goals and taking it one step at a time. Also on the 9th of June, we have the Sun in Gemini square Saturn in Pisces. This is a challenging energy. We're likely feeling really restricted now. We're starting to feel really challenged. Something's holding us back. This is flowing on through from this Venus square Saturn as well. So we're feeling like something is really challenging or restricting us, holding us back in some way, shape, or form. We're needing to look at it. We're needing to work through it, and we're needing to just say, hey, hold on a minute. Let's slow down, Mars and Taurus. Let's slow down and see what this energy is showing up for us, and how can we work through this, and what challenge do we need to overcome to get to where we want to be, to achieve our goals, to get over what it is coming up right now. On the 10th of June, we have Mercury in Gemini sextile the North Node in Aries and trine the South Node in Libra. So we may be ready to express or communicate these things that were coming up for us around the 4th of June. We may be ready to put these into place. We've had these things come up like, whoop, this is what I'm ready to let go of. This is what I'm ready to move on from. This is how I'm going to take action towards my goals. Now we're ready to communicate it and express it. Maybe we're ready to pick up some study of some sort. Maybe we're ready to just put into place or put into action the ideas that we've had coming through. On the 12th of June, we have Mars and Taurus square Pluto retrograde in Aquarius. This is bringing up that challenging energy. This is really amplifying it at its exact point now. This was coming up a little bit around the new moon. It was building up to this energy. Now it's exact. Now we're like, okay, this challenge that was coming up for us is really here, is really potent. I need to make this decision. I need to cut this off. I need to move on. I'm ready to go. This is this energy of the 12th. We also have Mercury in Gemini square Saturn in Pisces. I don't like the 12th of June, just to be cautious on this day. I don't like that both of our malefics are in square aspects, especially with Mercury in Gemini, square Saturn in Pisces. If you're out on the road or in a vehicle, just be careful. Mercury rules travel, Mercury rules cars, everything like that. So just be cautious when you're out and about around the 12th of June. This energy is intense. Mercury and Gemini square Saturn and Pisces. We might be feeling like we're finally ready to communicate or express or maybe work through verbally, mentally, in some sort of way, the challenges that were coming up around the 8th and 9th with Venus and the Sun square Saturn. We're maybe ready to look at it and to talk about it. What's coming up right now is maybe coming to an exact head or really tangibly expressing for us. Then on the 15th of June, this is a bit of a nicer energy, we have a Mercury cazimi. Now, cazimis for both Venus and Mercury are potent, intense, because these are our personal planets. These energies are really intensified for us personally. So this energy of Mercury in Gemini conjunct the Sun in Gemini is going to be bringing through to us, especially to do with the mind. It's a lot to do with our thought processes, how we communicate. We might be getting some really brilliant ideas around this date. So this is a wonderful time to tune in, listen to, journal, just really lean into whatever energies or whatever things are coming up for you right now, because this is a potent time, especially with Mercury in its home sign of Gemini and the Sun in Gemini really amplifying this mercurial energy, amplifying this really positive energy of the Sun and Mercury in a conjunction in Gemini. I really, really like this date of the 15th for putting forward any ideas, putting forward any project ideas, or working on projects, or studying. If you've got an exam around the 15th, this is positive energy for you. If you're thinking of taking a test of some kind, especially written or verbal, or driving around the 15th, this is a nice energy too. We will still have a residual sort of energy from Saturn and Mercury squaring, but it is positive with the Sun conjoining Mercury in Gemini. Then on the 17th, we have both Mercury and Venus squaring Neptune in Pisces. So again, this is a challenging energy when it comes to maybe expressing or understanding where we are in a relationship of some sort. We're maybe feeling clouded, our judgment isn't clear. If you are feeling this way on or around the 17th, you're feeling confused, you're not too sure what's going on, things aren't quite what they seem, this energy will pass. It's Venus and Mercury, two of our most personal planets, squaring Neptune in Pisces. It's challenging, but then shortly after that, both Mercury and Venus will be moving into Cancer on the 17th. So like I said, it's only a short-lived transit, as both of these planets are really quickly moving. So this will pass. Then on the 18th of June, we have Mercury and Venus conjoining in Cancer. I love this energy. I feel like this is taking what we've learned on the 5th and the 15th with both Venus conjoining the Sun and Mercury conjoining the Sun, we're both having cazimis in the same month, then both coming together on the 18th in Cancer. We're likely ready to express, communicate in a really positive way the things that might have been coming up for us on these cazimis, these ideas that might have been coming through to us, these new relationships or a deepening of a relationship of some sort of some kind. Both with Mercury and Venus in Cancer, this is focusing on our individual needs, our needs of our family. We're likely feeling really sentimental around this time. Our home and ensuring our home space feels really comforting, warm, and inviting is really important to us during this time. With Mercury in Cancer, this is a wonderful transit for us to really lean into and absorb and tune into the energies that are around us. We're likely picking up not just what people are saying, but the intent and energy around us. This is a very intuitive time. So lean into the subtle cues and hints that you're getting, not just through communication, but through the energies of people around you. If you're needing to have conversations with a significant other or family or friendships, this is a wonderful transit to do so, especially around the 18th when both Mercury and Venus are conjoining, as you're likely able to communicate and express these feelings that you're wanting to convey in a really warm, inviting and welcoming and positive way, and it will likely be received in that way too. So this is a wonderful transit for that. We're also likely wanting to express ourselves in intimate settings. So if you're wanting to sort of brainstorm or come up with ideas for projects, or look at expanding or leaning into and deepening your relationships, having a small intimate setting, if you're wanting to lean into female friendships more, having having close-knit circles of communications, of sitting together and talking and really leaning into your feelings and expressing this. This is a wonderful transit to really lean into the feelings that you're feeling inside and not be afraid to share them with others, especially when they're sort of in that same energy of you and you feel safe and receptive in that space. It's all about the space where you're communicating this. So keep in mind that if you're wanting to do this kind of work, or you're wanting to call in friendships that are feeling really like a home, like a family, small intimate settings is a wonderful way to surround yourself with that and to do that. Finding friendships or groups where you're wanting to really call in that energy of bouncing ideas off each other or leaning into how you're feeling, a small intimate setting is perfect for that. On the 21st of June, we have the Sun in Gemini squaring Neptune in Pisces. Again, a challenging energy of not feeling really sure where we stand, maybe not feeling really sure how we feel or where we're wanting to go. We're just feeling some sort of disillusion in some kind. This wave of confusion or this illusionment around us and surrounding the state, it's a bit of a challenging energy. So just to be cautious of this, if you're out and about, just know that if you're feeling confused or not too sure what's going on, or this energy is challenging, like it happened a bit earlier in the week with Mercury and Venus. This is the same energy of the Sun squaring Neptune and Pisces. Shortly after, the Sun will move into Cancer, and that signifies our summer solstice in the Northern Hemisphere and our winter solstice in the Southern Hemisphere. So we're moving in to this new energy. We're either slowing down and leaning into this winter energy, or we're ready to get out there. We're ready to enjoy the sun, ready to put ourselves out there and be more invigorated and be around people and just really lean into this energy. So this is coming up around the 21st-22nd of June when the Sun is fully in Cancer. Then on the 22nd of June, we will have a full moon in Capricorn, and this will be happening at 1 degree and 7 minutes of Capricorn. Also on the 22nd, we will have Mercury in Cancer sextiling Mars in Taurus. So there's this nice energy of wanting to take action and to express ourselves in a way that is really positive. We're ready to take that grounded, steady action and to really put into place. We might be feeling slow and steady when it comes to how we're going to achieve this, but we're finally ready to just put our ideas into place. We're ready to just communicate and express ourselves in a way that feels really grounded, practical, and stable. We're ready to just take action in a way that feels sustainable for us around the time of this full moon. So this full moon in Capricorn, I do feel like will be a little more challenging than the last moon cycles that we've had. We have a strong T-square happening with Neptune and Saturn in Pisces to the Sun in Cancer and the moon in Capricorn. So this T-square will be challenging us on how we are applying and overcoming certain situations or challenges throughout our life. Are we able to express ourselves and communicate and set up the boundaries that we've been needing to put in place? Are there some sort of areas in our life that we're ready to restructure or revisit in some sort of way? Is there some sort of energy that is stopping us? Are we feeling somewhat disillusioned towards how we're going to achieve our goals or how we're going to get to where we want to get and do what we want to do? Something is holding us back, something is restricting us. We're unable to progress forward in a way that we want to progress forward around the time of this full moon. Something is stopping us, challenging us, and holding us back. We're not feeling like we're able to move on or to progress forward in some sort of way. We are feeling somewhat restricted when it comes to going after our goals. We also have a square happening to Mercury from the North Node and the South Node, so the North Node in Aries and the South Node in Libra around the time of this full moon. So we're not able to express and communicate ourselves in a way that feels good. We might be feeling like we're not able to talk about or touch on or speak without maybe hurting someone or challenging people in some way. We're maybe feeling like we're needing to walk on eggshells in some sort of communication that we're needing to have, or something we're needing to express, remove, or let go from in our lives. We're feeling somewhat restricted or challenged in some way. There is a lot of restrictive energy around the time of this full moon. There is, however, some positive energy, so it's not all bad. We do have some positive energy happening from Jupiter in Gemini. We have a wonderful trine happening to the South Node in Libra and a trine happening to Pluto retrograde in Aquarius. So there is this positive energy surrounding what we need to let go and transform in our lives. However, getting there is not so easy. We may be feeling like there is a lot of challenge, delay, restriction. There's a lot of maybe bureaucratic red tape that we're needing to work through around the time of this full moon. It's not clear, and we're not sort of clear on where we need to go or how we're going to get there. We're just knowing we're needing to do the thing, but we're not sure how we're going to do the thing. So there's something that's not quite happening for us when we want it to happen. At the time of this full moon, we also have Mars in Taurus trine the moon in Capricorn. This is a positive, but it is with one of our malefic energies. So we're likely feeling like we're wanting to cut out or go forward or take action in a grounded, practical, positive way, but maybe we're not quite sure where we need to do this. We're maybe feeling like, I'm ready to go, I want to do this, but I know I need to do this in a practical way. I know I need to do this a little slower. It's about taking our time and being methodical about how we're doing it, but we're maybe not sure where we can start or how we're even going to get there. There's this confusion, there's this delay, there's this challenging energy at the time of this full moon. So just to be cautious around the time of this full moon. This is a great full moon to maybe not be out and about, not be out there in the world, even though we're always we're all out there in the world, but this may be a full moon that is a little bit more introspective. This is a full moon that you're really leaning into where you need to make decisions and remove yourself from certain situations in your life. But if you're not sure of where you need to do that, that's okay. Just taking your time and understanding that this energy will pass. It's just a very challenging and expressive and very full-on full moon, especially with all of the square energy that is happening at the time of this full moon. So moving on to the 23rd of June, we have Mercury in Cancer square, North Node in Aries and South Node in Libra. So we had this energy around the time of the full moon, so now it's become exact. We're feeling this exact square, this T-square to Mercury. It's a challenge. It's not a fun energy. We're maybe feeling like we're at a point in our goals or at a point where we're wanting to move forward on, and we're like, how am I going to get there? How am I even going to do this? It maybe feels a bit it's quite challenging. Maybe feeling like we've been held back, or it's a bit of a setback in some way. We may be feeling like, how can I move forward when there is so much I need to overcome? But it's taking it step by step. It's really leaning into this Mercury and Cancer energy. It's this wanting to go forward, but in a way that feels good, in a way that you know is going to be felt and reciprocated. It's about this reciprocation. So where is this energy that you're needing to take action on? Where is this challenge coming up for you? And how can you do this in a way that's it's going to be effective, but it's also going to feel good? So leaning into the unseen energies that might be around you, leaning into your intuition, really trusting the process, I think will be really key in working through this energy, because there is likely this energy of you're not wanting to talk about or express what you need to because of fear of hurting people or hurting yourself. There's things that you need to do. There's communications or conversations that you need to have in a way that is going to be challenging, but it is for the greater good, but it needs to be sort of approached in a way that is going to be felt and received in a really good way. There's a lot of give and take at the time of this T-square to Mercury. On the 27th of June, we then have Venus in Cancer squaring the North Node in Aries and squaring the South Node in Libra. So there's a T-square happening now with Venus. So it is a little bit gentler because it is involving Venus, and Venus does like being in Cancer, but there might be some energy where it's feeling challenged, like you're feeling like your emotions aren't seen and heard. You're not feeling like you're able to, feeling maybe restricted by how you're feeling to move forward or take action. There's some sort of challenge that's coming up to do with maybe our finances or our friendships or relationships that we're feeling like we're unable to, there's something we're not able to do, we're feeling restricted and challenged in some way. there is some sort of thing that's coming up for us that we need to work on, but we're maybe not sure how. How are we going to do this? How are we going to move forward when all these challenges are coming up for us? I just want to like give up, but don't give up. Just know that this will pass and these challenges will sort themselves out and you will be able to work through them in a way that feels really good and in a way that is going to be received really well. On the 27th, we also have Mercury in Cancer trine Saturn in Pisces. So there is a nice energy happening here. It is with Saturn. So Saturn is one of our malefic planets, but it is in a trine. So whatever decisions or communications that we need to have may feel challenging, may be like quite serious, but they're for the greater good. They're for this long-term setting ourselves up for success, setting ourselves up in a way that we're going to benefit from in the long term. So communications or conversations that we're needing to have with our family, with our friends, to do with our money or resources of some kind. It is challenging, it is serious, but the situations or communications that we're needing to talk about or go through or express will be setting ourselves up for the long run. Then on the 29th of June, we have Venus in Cancer, sextile Mars in Taurus. So there's again this slow and steady energy when it comes to going after our financial goals, or we might be feeling really lit up and inspired to really take that next step within our relationship. So we may be feeling really passionate in some way, shape, or form, but in a way that feels really aligned with where we're wanting to go, or aligned with people that really light us up in some way. We're likely feeling positively able to go after or start working towards our goals in a very slow and steady pace. It's this really nice, slow, steady, positive energy. Then on the 30th of June, we have Mercury in Cancer, sextile Uranus in Taurus. So there's maybe some unexpected conversations or downloads or ideas that might be coming through that you're like, hold on, I never thought of it that way. Looking at things from a different perspective might be really key around the 30th of June. And we also then have finally Saturn stationing retrograde. So Saturn has been in its shadow period for the last 2 weeks of June. As with all retrograde planets, 2 weeks before they station retrograde, they do have a bit of a shadow period. So Saturn is finally in its retrograde cycle now. So Saturn will station direct on November 15th at 12 degrees and 42 minutes of Pisces. Will then start working its way out of its shadow period. So you can watch the rising sign portion of the video for your sun, moon, and rising to get a full picture of what this month has in store for you. I'll also be including a bonus oracle card pull to give us more information and insight to what this month's energies have in store for you. For Aries and Aries rising, this energy of June will be happening throughout your 3rd and 4th houses. There's a lot of emphasis on your 3rd house right now, how you communicate, how you express yourself, your siblings, your extended family, your local neighborhood around you, maybe some study that you're thinking of doing or are currently completing. There's a lot of emphasis here this month ahead. There's also going to be an emphasis on positively letting go or removing yourself from situations, contracts, or relationships that are no longer aligned with you. You're maybe already feeling this, but there's going to be this positive energy to really let those go or remove yourself from those and focus on this new energy that you're calling into your life to do with yourself, who you are, and who you're here to be. There's a lot of energy happening in your 3rd house, especially with the Venus and Mercury cazimi both happening here. So pay attention to the downloads and intuitive insights that are coming through to you this month. This may really assist you with any travel, any study, or any relationships that are working on mending or building in your life. The full moon will be happening in your Capricorn 10th house. So there's this work-life balance that you're needing to work through. There's some challenging energy here for you, Aries rising. So there could be some challenges to do with how much you're putting into your work and how much you're putting in at home. There could be some challenges to do with, are you wanting to put everything out there? Or what are you wanting to keep hidden or part to yourself? So there's some sort of energy that's happening here around the time of the full moon. Pay attention to what's coming up and let go of where you need to let go and focus on what you need to focus on, what feels right for you and feels aligned, that's going to assist you with moving forward towards these goals that you're working on. Saturn Saturn will be stationing retrograde in your 12th house of Pisces. So there could be some revisiting of structures or boundaries to do with you having your alone time, having your solitude, spending that time working behind the scenes, paying attention to where you need to release, what needs to end in your life, maybe revisiting things that no longer feel aligned with you, or revisiting your connection with spirituality. Pay attention to your dreams and what comes through to you within the subconscious realms at this time, because you're likely going to be tuning into this energy a lot throughout this Saturn retrograde. Let's have a look at what the Oracle card has in store for you, Aries and Aries rising, for the month of June. You are not alone. I really like this card and this energy for you, Aries rising. So it's about isolation, physical connection, and community, which sums up pretty much what this month ahead will be for you. So especially with Saturn stationing retrograde in your 12th house of subconscious, this is very much isolation, what we were just talking about, your connection with the divine, knowing that you're connected with everyone, but also understanding that you need that time for yourself, you need that space alone. Connection, physical connection, and community. Community is very emphasized throughout your 3rd house of Gemini. So this is really important for you to focus on community, focus on where you feel aligned, aligning with work or situations that help you feel more in tune with your family, or more in tune with situations that align you with where you're wanting to go. Understanding you don't have to do it all alone. You can reach out to the community around you to support you where you need. All that for you, Aries rising, there's going to be a big focus on your local community, your neighborhood travel, local travel, your siblings, and your connection with your family, your roots, your ancestors, maybe some challenges within work potentially, a balance between your needs and the needs of others, and along with some need for isolation and alone time. For Taurus and Taurus rising, this energy of June will be happening throughout your 2nd and 3rd houses. There's a focus on your finances, and along with your connection with your community, how you express yourself, and how you communicate with others. The new moon in Gemini is going to be happening in your 2nd house of finances, your values, your value system. There's a lot of energy happening here, especially around the 4th and around the new moon on the 7th of June. So there's some new opportunities that you're wanting to call in. There's some letting go of work or spaces where you're working in, contracts, daily routines that are no longer working for you. There's some sort of letting go of something here that is going to allow you to create more space to call in more work, to call in more work opportunities, to call in more financial streams of income for you over the months and years ahead. Taurus rising, there's a lot of energy happening in your 2nd house, especially with Jupiter just moving in here. There's going to be some big emphasis on your value system, what you're aligning yourself with. You're going to experience the Mercury and Venus cazimi in your 2nd house of finances. So pay attention to what might be coming up for you around this time. Is there new ideas or new downloads or new opportunities that you could be calling in, or you could be aligning yourself with, that feel more in tune to this new season of your life? The full moon in Capricorn will be happening in your 9th house of overseas travel, higher study, and higher law. So there's something here that needs to be let go. Something is triggering some change and frustration. Something's coming to an end. Maybe a trip that you had is no longer working out, but it's for the greater good. So there's something happening here that is going to refocus your attention on your home and family life. There's some sort of thing you're needing to let go of. Maybe there's an old dream that's outdated, or an old goal that's outdated that you're needing to let go and move on from, in order to create the space that you're needing to create to ensure you're aligning yourself and on the right track going forward. Saturn will be stationing retrograde in your 11th house of community, friendships, and social circles, along with hopes and dreams and wishes. Again, so there's this big emphasis on ensuring your community is aligned with you, is aligned with your goals, is aligned with where you're wanting to be headed. There's this focus on adjusting or letting go of old communities or old circles that no longer feel in alignment with you. There's some definite restructuring and resetting maybe of boundaries that need to be put into place, but there's this emphasis on something's needing to change here. Something is needing to be revisited. There may also be some sense of restriction when it comes to your finances, especially with the Saturn square to Venus happening in your second house of Gemini. So this is this focus on finances, a huge focus on finances for you this month at Taurus rising. And there's a lot of focus on community and a lot of focus on how you communicate and express yourself to do with this, to do with how you're aligning yourself with goals or opportunities or study that feels really in tune with who you are and what you're wanting to achieve. So let's have a look at what the Oracle card deck has in store for you, Taurus rising, for the month of June. Horayeth. Longing for home, homesick for the stars. I really like this energy for you, Taurus rising, because again, there's a lot of focus on your 12th house with the North Node, Chiron, and Mars currently there. So you're really feeling driven to align yourself with maybe spiritual practices or people or communities or just groups of people that maybe aren't so obvious, that really help you align with this newfound sense of spirituality that you've been longing for, that you've been working towards. So this is maybe you're feeling a bit homesick for this community or this family that you're calling in, to do with your hopes, dreams, and wishes, especially with Saturn restructuring these for you around this month. So there's this longing to connect with people that feel aligned with what you're looking for, this new phase of your life, or this new person that you're wanting to become. So there's this interesting energy this month for you, Taurus rising. So all up, there's a focus on your finances is going to be a huge sort of emphasis this month, a positive emphasis, but there could actually be some challenges or restrictions there potentially, and a focus on how you communicate and express yourself, especially when it comes to your study, it comes to your family, extended family, or your siblings, or even any local travel that you're thinking of embarking on. And also maybe some changes or challenges to do with travel and family life, potentially to do with travel, to going overseas, or aligning yourself with study that feels good, or taking a step back from study or higher study that doesn't feel aligned with you any longer. So for Gemini and Gemini rising, this energy of June will be happening throughout your first and second houses. There's a massive emphasis on you this month, Gemini rising, with a lot of energy happening in your first house of self. This will be kicking off, especially from the 4th of June, where we have a lot of energy focusing on your sense of self, along with your sense of what brings you joy, letting go of things that no longer feel joyful for you, letting go of relationships, especially romantic relationships that no longer feel aligned with you. There could be a change or shift if you have children on your relationship with your children for the positive, but there could just be some letting go or removing yourself from certain situations or dreams or goals or creative projects that no longer feel aligned with who you are or who you're becoming, or this new version of yourself. On the 7th of June, when we have the new moon in your first house, this is a wonderful new moon to really tune in to what you want. What are you calling in? What do you need on a physical level that's going to help assist you in working towards your goals, working towards your hopes, dreams, and wishes, working towards where you're wanting to go in this phase of your life? You've got a lot of new goals that you're probably thinking of working on, or dreams that you're wanting to call in. So there's this focus on letting go of parts that are holding you back to help project you forward into this next phase, or this these goals that you're wanting to achieve. Both the Venus and Mercury cazimi will also be happening in your first house of self. So pay attention to any downloads or intuitive insights that come up for you around this time, as these are likely providing insights into things that you might want to change or move on from, or just shift up in some way, to do with your sense of self, to do with who you are, that will help align you with the goals you're wanting to achieve. On the 22nd of June, when we have the full moon happening in your 8th house of finances, this will be bringing an alignment to where you need to let go, to do with work, to do with your money, to how you make your money, to do with your career potentially, that you need to let go of in order to assist you in creating space to call in new finances, to call in new ways of making money, or just highlighting any areas where you maybe owe money or people owe you money or something to do with other people's money that's going to be a focus for you right now. So pay attention to the challenges that are coming up at the time of the full moon and where you need to let go of some things to create some space. Saturn will be stationing retrograde in your 10th house of career and public reputation. So there could be a revisiting of structures and boundaries that you have around your career and maybe that side of yourself that you're putting out there. Maybe you're wanting to restrict a little bit, like pull a little bit of that energy back in and really refocus it into where you're wanting to put it going forward. That's really going to set you up for success in the long term. So let's have a look at what the oracle cards have in store for you, Gemini rising. The cosmic heart, devotion, potency, make your life a moving prayer. I absolutely love this for you, Gemini rising, especially with a lot of focus to do with your 5th house, your creative house, your sense of passion. So there's a lot of energy that's been changing and shifting here for you over the past few months, especially with the South Node moving into your 5th house of Libra. It's a lot of Venus energy, a lot of Venusian energy for you right now with Venus in your 1st house of self. So there's a lot of focus on the heart space, especially with the sun, which rules your Leo 3rd house, how you communicate and express yourself in your 1st house of self, along with Venus, a lot of focus on your heart, your creativity, your passions. So devotion, potency, make your life a moving prayer. So how can you align yourself more with your spiritual practices and with calling in more aligned and attuned to spirituality that feels really good to you, focusing on your hopes, dreams, and wishes, and where you can project this out and focusing on what feels aligned with you and where you can devote your time and energy into will be really potent for you this month, Gemini rising. So there's a big focus on your sense of self, your finances, your work, restructuring things to do with your work, focus on your hopes, dreams, and wishes, and changing up what you feel creative in and your connection with your creativity or any relationships that need to shift and change this month. So for Cancer and Cancer rising, this month of June will be focused on your 1st and 12th houses. There's a lot of 12th house energy for you this month, Cancer rising. So there's a lot of draw to retreat, which something that you maybe are quite a familiar energy with anyway, Cancer rising. So you may be feeling more of this than usual. So there's going to be a big focus on allowing yourself to have time alone, allowing yourself to have space from the world around you to really process and work through this energy that's coming up for you, especially kicking off from the 4th of June. Will there be a lot of energy focusing on letting go of any family situations, home situations that no longer feel aligned for you? This is a big shift and change for you, Cancer rising, as home is something that you need to have to feel really grounded, to feel really safe and secure. So with all this change happening in your 4th house of home and family, there's a lot of tricky feelings and maybe energy that is coming up for you around this time, or that has been coming up for you, especially around eclipse season. The new moon is going to be happening in your 12th house. So this is awesome new moon to really tune into your intuition, tune into your dream space, really focus on what messages might be coming through to you in your dreams that could help assist you in achieving your goals or working towards your goals or working towards work or opportunities that maybe feel really aligned with you going forward, especially with Jupiter now in your 12th house, which rules your 6th house and rules your 9th house. So there's these big opportunities and dreams that you're wanting to really focus on, maybe more behind the scenes than maybe more in the spotlight. Venus and Mercury cazimis are both going to happen in your 12th house of subconscious. So really pay attention to your intuitive hits that come up for you around these dates. So around the 5th and around the 15th of June. So pay attention to what's coming up for you around that time, Cancer rising, and really lean into it. The full moon is going to be happening in your 7th house of relationships, one-to-one work and contractual agreements. So there could be some challenges to do with your relationship, especially if you're married. There could be some challenges to do with a marriage or your marriage. There could be some challenges to do with work contracts or work agreements that are feeling no longer aligned, or who you want to be, or people that are no longer aligning with who you are anymore, or these changes that are happening in your life. Maybe you're needing to let go of that. There's some changes happening here. Maybe to do with your living situation. Maybe there's contracts to do with your living or your home or your housing situation that are feeling quite challenging right now. Know that this will pass, but these challenges are coming up for a reason to be really looked at and to be really worked on and worked through. On the 30th of June, Saturn will be stationing retrograde in your ninth house of international travel, higher law, foreign cultures and people, along with higher study. So there could be a revisiting of any outdated or old studies that you've done. Maybe you're revisiting this to regain some knowledge that you feel like you might have lost, or there could be a revisiting to maybe some travel plans, or getting serious about maybe making and sitting in those travel plans that you've been maybe thinking about or wanting to do. So pay attention what's coming up over the next few months with Saturn stationing retrograde in your ninth house. So let's have a look at what the oracle cards have in store for you, Cancer rising. Whale and Orca elders, share your song, frequency of sound, diving deep. I love this energy for you, Cancer rising, with the strong water energy, especially with Mercury moving into your first house, especially with Mercury and Venus conjoining on the 18th in your first house of self. This is a beautiful opportunity to really express and talk about and share your feelings and align with people that make you feel seen and reciprocated to the feelings and emotions and things that are coming up for you, and you feel really safe, seen, and supported. So it's a really big important thing for you, Cancer rising, and really lean into it this month if you can. Get a group of people together that help you express and share what you're wanting to share, and have those intimate connections with people. I feel like will be really soul satisfying for you this month. So this month, this energy is going to be focused on your sense of self, who you are, how you express yourself and communicate with others, along with really tuning into your intuition, having that time and space alone, along with some challenges that come up to do maybe with your partnerships, your work, home, family life, and to do with changes around travel, higher study, maybe some revisiting of that, and revisiting of some things that might be coming up for you to do with foreign cultures or higher law or study or travel in general. So for Leo and Leo rising, this energy of June will be happening throughout your 12th and 11th houses. Kicking off on the beginning of June around the 4th, you're going to be experiencing some pretty intense energy to do with letting go of maybe, or communicating or expressing some letting go of maybe local neighborhoods that are no longer feeling aligned with where you're wanting to be located physically, are no longer assisting you with the dreams and goals that you have for your future. Maybe letting go of some old connections with family that are feeling like they're holding you back or keeping you stuck in some way, shape, or form. I feel like there's going to be this change and shift to do with your physical location where you're located. There's a lot of energy happening around this already for you, Leo rising, especially to do with the North Node in your ninth house right now. There's this focus on aligning yourself with travel or a location that feels like you can connect with people from a foreign culture or help assist you with your studies in some way, shape, or form. The new moon on the 7th of June is going to be happening in your 11th house. This is an awesome new moon for calling in opportunities to travel, to align yourself with a home space that feels like it's going to assist you in achieving your goals, calling in new circles of friendships or community that are going to really support you in these goals or these new versions of this yourself that you're wanting to step into over the next few months. So there's this really emphasis on your hopes, dreams, and wishes, and calling in a connection with a community that feels like it can assist you in this way. You're going to experience the cazimis in your 11th house of connection. So pay attention to the relationships or intuitive downloads or things coming up for you around this time that could have a real assistance or be a real key in your achieving your goals that you're wanting to achieve, or going forward or going after your wishes and your hopes and dreams. These new connections that you might be forming may be really key or really important for you over these upcoming months and years ahead. Mercury and Venus will be conjoining in your 12th house of subconscious, intuition, dreams, and endings of some sort. So pay attention to how you need to express yourself or communicate in a way that feels like you may need to close something off or end something, or be alone with your feelings to process them. Maybe you need to communicate some sort of boundaries, or maybe you need to communicate with people in a really small setting that help you feel really seen and really heard for what you're feeling and experiencing. The full moon will be happening in your 6th house of work. So there could be this balancing of work and daily routines and your co-workers to do with your need for isolation or time alone. So there's this challenging energy that's happening here. Maybe you're feeling stuck or stagnant in some way. You're needing to break through these feelings or needing to break through what's holding you back from really going after something that you want, or holding you back from feeling peace and alignment and space within your day-to-day work. There's something that's coming up for you to do with your work, co-workers, and your daily routines, potentially even your health, that's coming up around this time that needs to be worked on and looked at in order to move forward. So Saturn will be stationing retrograde in your 8th house of other people's money, debt, inheritance, and finances. So there could be a revisitation of any old debts, of any old taxes, or any old inheritances that you maybe didn't get paid out or that you might owe. So just be conscious of this, that could be rearing its head at this time. It's something that needs to be looked at in order to move on from, in order to work through. When Saturn stations direct, it's going to be revisited again. So whatever is coming up for you around this time, just note that it will likely be revisited when Saturn does station direct. So let's have a look at what the oracle cards have in store for you, Leo rising. Well, in Orca Elders, this is a card that popped out a little bit earlier, but it just popped out again. So for you, Leo rising, it's again tuning into this 12th house energy. I feel like share your song, frequency of sound, diving deep, especially with Venus and Mercury conjoining in your 12th house of subconscious. It's your Cancer house, it's your water house. There's going to be a lot of energy happening in your other water house of Pisces 8th house, and it will be just really emphasizing tuning in and diving deep and listening to what's coming up for you. So all up this month for you, Leo rising, there's going to be a focus on your hopes, dreams, and wishes, your community, going after your goals, letting go of any sort of work contracts or things that might be holding you back from achieving these goals, letting go of maybe communicating and expressing, or letting go of where you're living, or changing up where you're living in order to ensure you're aligning yourself with a place where you want to be to achieve those goals, and spending some time alone to process, or with small groups to process how you're feeling and communicate this and feel that same level of support that you're giving others. So for Virgo and Virgo rising, this energy of June will be happening throughout your 10th and 11th houses. There's going to be a massive focus on your career, your public reputation, and your public projects that you're putting out into the world this month of June. Kicking off from the beginning of June, especially around the 4th, there's going to be a big emphasis on where you're needing to let go of certain outdated beliefs or value systems, or some outdated streams of income that is going to allow you to create more space to call in new streams of income or to increase your finances in some way, shape, or form. There's going to be a focus around the time of the new moon to do with your career. This is a wonderful new moon to call in new career opportunities, especially with Jupiter now in your 10th house, providing you that luck and visibility that you've been waiting for. So there's this big focus on achieving these career goals, achieving these public recognized goals that you've been maybe working towards for a long time. So this is a wonderful new moon to call that in. You're going to experience both the Mercury and Venus cazimis in your 10th house, so pay attention to any intuitive hits that might be coming up for you to do with your career, and where you can put yourself out there more, maybe relationships that you can call in to assist you with these career goals and achievements that you're wanting to make. The Mercury-Venus conjunction will be happening in your 11th house of community. This is a wonderful energy for calling in relationships or communities that feel like they'll support you with the dreams and wishes that you're working towards, that they're feeling really nurturing, really kind, and really maybe expressing how you feel about those that are supporting you. This is a wonderful transit to do that. The full moon will be happening in your Capricorn 5th house, so there could be some challenging energy to do with romantic relationships, or your relationship with children, or your relationship with your creative endeavors that maybe no longer feel aligned with you, that you're needing to let go, shift, and change or move on from in some way. There is some challenge coming up around this, and to do with your finances, especially your value system around your finances, and also how you make your money, your connection with other people's money, things like that, and other people's money, debt, or inheritances. Some sort of challenges coming up around this for you at the time of the full moon. Saturn will be stationing retrograde in your 7th house of partnerships, one-to-one contractual agreements. So if you've had any old contracts that maybe went away for a bit, they may potentially come back up again, or any work that has maybe dried up a little bit or sort of fizzled out will likely come up again for you to look at, or an old contract might come up for you to re-sign or something like that. Something is coming up for you to revisit around your contractual agreements and one-to-one partnerships. So let's have a look what the oracle cards have in store for you. That came out really quickly. Activated Earth, which is so perfect for you, Virgo rising. Power, places, ley lines, trust where you're led. So trusting where you're led, trusting this beautiful earth energy that will be happening in your chart as well, especially with this full moon in Capricorn will be trining your ascendant, maybe not by degree, but by house, but by sign. So there will be this energy, this positive energy that will be supporting you in these changes and changes or challenges that will be coming up, or these changes that need to happen. So there will be a positive energy being supported with that, with your ascendant trining the full moon in Capricorn, but really leaning into this earth energy, really getting attuned to the earth, really tuning into your intuition and your grounded practical vision, especially with Mercury so involved at the time of the full moon, the new moon, and in this month in general with the Mercury cazimi. So all up this month for you, Virgo rising, there'll be a big focus on your career, your public reputation, your connection with finances, how you make your money, other people's money, and also your connection with community and who's supporting you and how you want to call in more people that will support you around this time. So for Libra and Libra rising, this energy of June will be happening throughout your 9th and 10th houses. There's going to be a big focus on travel, higher study, or connecting with people from a foreign culture for you this month. There's a lot of energy around this around the beginning of June. So on the 4th of June, there's going to be a big focus on maybe letting go of something to do with yourself. There's going to be maybe removing yourself from a situation that no longer feels aligned with where you wanting to be going, with these new opportunities that you're wanting to call in. You're maybe needing to let go or remove yourself from potentially just situations that no longer feel aligned with you, and leaning in to what does feel aligned, what does make you feel passionate, and that you can start working towards and achieving those goals, or calling in those clientele that you want to be working with. The new moon will be happening in your 9th house of Gemini. So this is a wonderful new moon to call in opportunities to travel, put yourself out there, connect with people from a foreign culture, or to do any higher study if you are calling in sort of upgrading or upskilling in some sort of way. Both the Mercury and Venus cazimis will be happening in your 9th house of travel, of foreign cultures. So there's this, pay attention to what sort of intuitive downloads or insights that will be coming up for you around this time. This is a really wonderful energy to tune into and just see what comes up, and just lean into the ideas or energies that are coming up for you around the time of the cazimis. Venus and Mercury will then conjoin in your 10th house of career. So this is a wonderful opportunity to call in new relationships to do with your career, new clients, new work opportunities that feel really deeply aligned with your career pathway, that lights you up, that helps you feel nurtured and supported with your career, because this is a really important thing for you, Libra rising, for you to feel supported and nurtured in the career pathway and putting your projects out into the world. You need to feel really supported. The full moon will be happening in your 4th house of home and family and roots and connection with your ancestors. So there is some sort of challenge that's coming up around the time of this full moon to do with your home and to do with your work-home life balance. So there's something that's needing to maybe shift or change or be let go of. Maybe you're needing to step back in some way, shape, or form, or maybe you're needing to call in more assistance from home, or maybe shift and change or balance work from home in some way, shape, or form to do with your career. But there's some sort of challenge that's coming up around the time of this full moon to do with your work-life balance, and also your connection with yourself and your clients, one-to-one clients, your marriage, your relationships. There's some challenge that's coming up around the time of this full moon that's going to require a lot of balance and working through these challenges in order to progress forward. Saturn will be stationing retrograde in your Pisces 6th house. So there could be some old work that might pop up for you, some work opportunities, some old co-workers might pop out of the blue, and you might, need to be able to lean on them in some way, shape, or form, or call them in to help you in some way, shape, or form. So pay attention to what's coming up with the Saturn stationing retrograde. There also could be some revisitation of boundaries that you're needing to have in place to do with your work-life balance, or to do with your daily routines, and carving out time to ensure you have a set daily routine that allows you to tune into your spirituality and intuition as well. So let's have a look at what the oracle cards have in store for you, Libra rising. Cracked open, rock bottom, surrender to the alchemy of life. So I really like that energy for you, especially with Saturn stationing retrograde in your sixth house. I feel like this is sort of breaking open for you that connection with your work-life balance, your daily routines, and carving out that space for you to ensure you have a spiritual devoted practice or a practice that allows you to tune into your intuition and fill your cup up so you can pour into others. So for you, Libra rising, this month will be focused on your travel plans, overseas, connection with foreign cultures in some way, shape, or form, maybe even some higher study, your work, putting projects out there, work-life balance, and ensuring you have a solid daily routine or restructuring that in some way, shape, or form. And there will also be a focus on your home and family life too. So for Scorpio and Scorpio rising, this energy of June will be happening throughout your 8th and 9th houses. There's a massive focus on your 8th house at the beginning of the month, especially on the 4th of June. There's a lot of energy happening here. There's a lot of energy happening with you needing to end something, to let go of something that is maybe holding you back from calling in new work or money or opportunities to make more money. Maybe there's this energy that you're needing to positively change, shift, or let go of in order to help you create space to call more of this in. The new moon in Gemini will also be happening in your 8th house. So this is a wonderful new moon to really take note of and take stock of where you're wanting to call in more financial abundance or financial opportunities that are going to assist you in achieving your goals. If you're wanting to call in a new loan or financial support in some way, shape, or form, this is a wonderful new moon to do so. You're also going to experience the Venus and Mercury cazimis in your 8th house of other people's money and finances. So pay attention to these deep subconscious energies that might be coming up for you. This is a very psychic house. So pay attention to these intuitive hits or downloads that you might be receiving that can really help and assist you in moving forward towards your financial goals over the upcoming months and years ahead. Mercury and Venus will conjoin in your 9th house of Cancer. So this is a wonderful transit energy to maybe speak and connect with people that will really assist you in your travel goals or going overseas or connecting with foreign cultures that help you feel really seen or heard in some way, shape, or form. Maybe nurturing connections with other people from overseas or relationships from overseas that will really assist you to do with maybe calling in new work opportunities, to call in new finances in some way, shape, or form. On the 22nd of June, the full moon will be happening in your Capricorn 3rd house. So there's some sort of communication or travel or energy that is coming up for you to do with some restriction or challenge in some way. Something is needing to end or close off to do with potentially work, travel, your family life, your home life. Something is shifting and changing here. There's a big focus on your health and daily routines right now with the North Node in Aries in your 6th house. So there's some sort of challenging energy that's coming up around the time of this full moon. So just pay attention to it. Take some space and some time out if you need it. It is going to be a full-on full moon. So just be aware that there could be some challenging energy around this time for you. Saturn will be stationing retrograde in your 5th house of creativity, your romantic partnerships or children if you have any children. So there could be a revisiting and a restructuring to do with your creativity, tuning into things that really light you up, that make you feel really passionate. So there could be a revisiting of old projects or old creative endeavors that you might have been doing or completing that maybe you didn't get a chance to complete or a chance to look at in some way. So this could be coming up around the time that Saturn station retrograde and maybe putting in some boundaries in place that you need to carve out time for yourself, carve out time to lean into what makes you happy, or relationships that you need to reset boundaries for, revisit boundaries around. So let's have a look at what the oracle cards have in store for you, Scorpio rising. Surrender to the sweetness. I absolutely love this. It very much leans into that 5th house energy. So Venus energy, pleasure, joy, make love to life. I love this energy, especially with the Venus cazimi happening this month in your 8th house. This is a really intimate energy for you and leaning into this intimacy to do with your money, to do with your finances. So really lean into this Venusian energy. Make more time for pleasure and joy and creativity in your life, especially with Saturn stationing retrograde in your 5th house. So really leaning into what brings you pleasure, what brings you joy, what brings you happiness this month, Scorpio rising. So all up, this is going to be a focus on your 8th house of other people's money, finances, debt, inheritances, your connection with travel, how you communicate and express yourself, and also your connection with your health, well-being, daily routines, and your connection with what brings you joy and lights you up and brings you happiness in your life. So for Sagittarius and Sagittarius rising, this energy of June will be happening throughout your 7th and 8th houses. There's going to be a massive focus at the beginning of this month for your 7th house of one-to-one contractual agreements, partnerships, especially around the 4th of June onwards. So there's going to be a need to let go of maybe community or hopes, dreams, or wishes, or some sense of some old outdated dreams that might be holding you back from really calling in that dream clientele, calling in that dream partner, calling in that dream opportunity for you to really work one-on-one with people that really light you up in a really positive and intellectual way. The new moon will be happening in your 7th house of partnerships. So it's a wonderful new moon to call in new partnerships or call in new energy around your current partnerships or call in clients, your dream clients. This is a wonderful energy to do so. You'll also experience the Venus and Mercury cazimis in your 7th house of partnerships. So lean into what energy might be coming up for you around this time. Is there certain things you can tune into or ideas or ways you want to communicate with others or people you want to communicate or get in touch with in some way that will really help align you with the people you want to be aligned with? So pay attention to what's coming up around the 5th and the 15th of June. The 18th of June, Mercury and Venus will join in conjunction in your 8th house of Cancer. So this is an awesome opportunity to talk about financial goals or set financial goals or really lean into how you can call in more money or more abundance in your life, especially through other people's money, especially through other sources if you're wanting to apply for loans or things like that. This is an awesome transit to do so. You will be experiencing the full moon on the 22nd of June in your Capricorn 2nd house. So there maybe is some challenging energy around your finances, your financial energy in your chart. So there's some sort of challenge here. There's some restriction or delay or just challenge in general happening around the time of this full moon, especially to do with how you communicate, express yourself, and to do with needing to let go of some old communities that are no longer aligned with you or no longer aligned with where you want to be heading and no longer light you up anymore. Saturn will be stationing retrograde in your 4th house of Pisces. So there is some restructuring to do with your home and family life. There may be a revisitation of where you're living, your actual home space. Maybe you're thinking of redecorating or redoing something that is like a structurally needing to happen. This might come up that needs to be revisited or looked at, or maybe you did make some changes to your home that aren't so structurally sound that may be coming up for you to revisit in some way, shape, or form. Or there could just be some old relationships with your family or relationships with your family in general that need me revisiting around boundaries or certain situations that you've put in place to that maybe need coming up to be revisited in some way, shape, or form. So let's have a look at what the oracle cards have in store for you, Sagittarius rising. So I'm sorry, defenselessness, righting past wrongs, uprooting. So I feel like this is very much the Saturn retrograde in this 4th house for you. The roots is your 4th house. There's something that's needing to be visited here, something that's needed to be paid attention to. Maybe say you're sorry or apologize or revisit in some way, shape, or form. So feeling defensiveness, righting past wrongs, and uprooting. Maybe you're needing to uproot where you are in order to be in a space that feels more aligned and feels more in tune with this energy that you're calling in. So all up for you, Sagittarius rising, this energy of June will be focusing on your contractual agreements, one-to-one partnerships, your connection with other people's money, your finances, your home and family life, and aligning with things that make you feel creatively inspired and attune with you in this new creative energy that you're calling in. So Capricorn and Capricorn rising, this energy of June is happening throughout your 7th and 6th houses. There's a lot of focus on your work, daily routines, your co-workers at the beginning of this month, especially around the 4th of June. There's this needing to let go of work or projects or tasks or public reputational things that you've been putting out there to be publicly recognized. You're needing to maybe withdraw yourself from. You maybe need to refocus your energy on your daily grind. You're needing to refocus your energy on your day-to-day routines, calling in a routine that feels really aligned with you, feels really supportive in all these different things that you're wanting to do within your career, within your projects, within your work. Maybe you're wanting to do lots of different areas or avenues at once. Creating a routine that allows you to do that, creating a routine that allows you to feel inspired. Also having a look at your health and well-being. Is there areas in your life that you can really focus or refocus on your health or well-being that you maybe have been neglecting in some way, shape, or form that are coming to the forefront right now? The new moon will be happening in your 6th house. So this is an awesome new moon to call in new opportunities, to align yourself with work or co-workers that feel really inspiring to you, that helps you call in new regimes or new health inspiration to invest in your health and well-being in some way, shape, or form. The Mercury and Venus cazimis will be happening in your 6th house as well. So pay attention to what could be coming up for you right now and the energies that are coming through, as this will likely help support you in these goals or changes that you need to make. The full moon will be happening in your Capricorn 1st house. So this full moon is likely feeling really personal. So whatever challenges or restrictions or things you're needing to overcome to do with your partnerships, to do with your work and career and your home and family life is likely going to be feeling really grinding and really pressing on you, Capricorn rising. So knowing that this might be coming up and understanding that you maybe need to take time away or slowly work through these challenges that are coming up. There's going to be some sort of really abrasive, restrictive challenge that is coming up around the time of this full moon. So just know that it's coming up for the greater good, that it's coming up to allow you to have an opportunity to work through some things that maybe will take a bit of time to get off the ground, but it is providing an opportunity to see where things aren't working and see where you can put your energy into making things better or helping things move along more smoothly. And then finally, Saturn will be stationing retrograde in your Pisces 3rd house. So there might be some relooking at how you're communicating or expressing yourself, or even some study that you might have been doing, having maybe a relook at that, or some study that you may be wanting to do. It's like revisiting that in some way, shape, or form, or even just revisiting your connection with your family, your extended family, or even your local community. So let's have a look at what the oracle cards have in store for you, Capricorn rising. The blue flame, spontaneous awakening, activation, integration time. This is a really, really awesome energy, especially with all that 6th house energy happening right now for you. Jupiter ruling your 12th house in your 6th house. There's a lot of integration and physical embodiment of maybe some changes or things that you're wanting to make. There's a lot of energy coming through to do with spontaneous awakening, activation, and integrating. So there's some energy that's coming up that maybe is needing to be looked at or integrated with the things you've learned or studied or revisited that need to be now integrated into your daily life, especially with Saturn stationing retrograde in your 3rd house of study. So all up for you, Capricorn rising. There's a lot of focus on your health and well-being, your daily routines, your one-to-one connections, your one-to-one contractual agreements, your sense of self, and some challenges that are coming up with balancing your sense of self, home and family, and how you communicate and express yourself. If you're Aquarius and Aquarius rising, this energy of June will be happening throughout your 5th and 6th houses. At the beginning of the month, there's a lot of focus on your 5th house of creativity. You currently have Jupiter just moved into your 5th house. I really love this energy for you. So on the 4th of June, there's going to be a focus on letting go of maybe some outdated travel, outdated study plans that you might have had that is holding you back, maybe from really tuning into your creative energy or tuning into what really brings you joy, where you're really wanting to be headed. The new moon will be happening in your 5th house of joy and creativity. So So calling in even, and also partnerships and like romantic partnerships. So calling in, maybe if you're wanting to call in a romantic partnership that you're really wanting to be open and receptive to, this is a wonderful new moon to do so. This is a wonderful new moon to call in creative opportunities for you to really align with. If you have children, or if you have children in your life, this is a wonderful new moon to really deepen that connection with them. You also be experiencing the Venus and Mercury cazimis in your fifth house of creativity. So this is a wonderful time to tune in where these insights or downloads that are coming through. What are these opportunities that might be starting to present themselves for you on the 5th and 15th of June? Lean into that. That might provide you with some of that creative spark or creative insight that you've been looking for. Or potentially new romantic partnerships might be showing up in a maybe a more friendship way at the beginning, and maybe you're able to lean into this a little bit more and you're starting to realize maybe it's more than just a friendship. So Mercury and Venus will be conjoining in your sixth house of health, well-being, daily routines, co-workers. So this is an awesome energy to really call in any relationships or express yourself with your relationships in your life that will help you feel supported and nurtured, to allow yourself to create that daily routine that helps you be able to really feel energized and fill up your cup so you can pour into others in some way, especially to do with your work or co-workers, or feeling supported in your workplace. The full moon will be happening in your Capricorn 12th house. So leaning into this energy, there's maybe some endings that are coming up for you around the time of this full moon. These might be quite challenging. They are important for your overall growth and progression forward. So it is a bit of a challenging full moon, and it maybe require you to maybe isolate it some way, in some way, shape, or form. So just lean into this energy and just be aware that this could be coming up for you around the time of the full moon. Saturn will be stationing retrograde in your second house of finances. So there could be some revisiting of your value systems, of your financial streams of income in some way, shape, or form that could be resurfacing to be looked at and worked through. Let's have a look at what the Oracle cards have in store for you, Aquarius rising. The courageous peony, multifaceted, unique nature, let yourself be seen. I feel like that is so potent for you, Aquarius rising, especially with Pluto now in your first house and recently stationed retrograde. So there's this like a needing to allow yourself to be seen, be that multifaceted person that you are, leaning into your weirdness, leaning into your uniqueness. There's nothing wrong with that. So leaning into that multifaceted version of yourself, tuning into this creative energy that you're wanting to call in, especially as this will be forming a trine at some stage to your ascendant as well. So there's a lot of beautiful energy happening for you this month, Aquarius rising, especially happening in your fifth house of creativity, joy, your connection with what lights you up, and your romantic partnerships, along with your connection with work, daily routines, health, and well-being. Maybe you're needing to isolate around the time of the full moon, and some restructuring needing to happen or refocus around your finances and your value system with Saturn stations retrograde at the end of the month. So for Pisces and Pisces rising, this energy of June will be happening throughout your fourth and fifth houses. The beginning of the month, there's a lot of energy happening in your fourth house of home, family, traditions, roots, and ancestors. So there's some really potent energy happening here for you around the 4th of June, where you're maybe needing to let go of some old income streams or other people's money, or letting go of some sort of maybe inheritance in some way, shape, or form, or some old debt needs to be cleared, fully let go of in some way. Something is needing to be let go of to do with other people's money, or your connection or intimacy around money. Something is needing to be shifted, changed, or let go of in a positive way around the 4th. This will also be really highlighted at the time of the new moon on the 7th of June, which will also be happening in your 4th house of home and family. So if you're actually in the middle of calling in a new home to live in, this is a wonderful new moon to do so, especially because the moon rules our home. So if you are calling in a new home space or wanting to renovate your current home space, this is a wonderful new moon to call in the opportunity and the finances and resources to do so. You're going to experience the Venus and Mercury cazimis in your 4th house of home and family. So leaning into these intuitive insights that come up for you around this time. What's coming up? What can assist you in achieving these opportunities going forward? What's coming up for you to lean into these maybe new relationships that are popping up that could assist you in calling in this new home, or changing this new home, or renovating this home space in some way. Mercury and Venus will conjoin in your Cancer fifth house on the 18th of June. So this is a beautiful transit to call in a romantic partner or deepen your romantic partner connections, to really lean in and express yourself in a way that feels quite vulnerable in some way, or allows yourself to just really express and share and feel nostalgic and lean into that energy and maybe channel that energy into your creative endeavors, especially because this energy will trine your ascendant at some point. You maybe feel really able to personify this energy and really lean into expressing yourself in a way that feels authentic and true to who you are and how you feel with those around you. Especially if you've got children, this is a beautiful transit to really connect and deepen your relationship with your children. It's a wonderful energy for that. The full moon will be happening in your Capricorn 11th house, so there could be some challenging energy to do with your relationships, your friendships, your connection with your community, hopes, dreams, and wishes that maybe you're feeling a bit stuck and a bit held back by. Maybe some old relationships or friendships are finally showing to you that you're ready to move on from them, that you're ready to let them go, that you're ready to make space for new friendships in your life. There's a lot of challenging energy around the time of this full moon, so just be aware of that and retreat if needed. Allow yourself space to process these challenging energies that might be coming up for you. Saturn will be stationing retrograde in your first house of self, so just know that there is some revisiting to do with maybe some personal boundaries that you're putting in place, maybe there's something feeling a bit restrictive to do with your physical body. Maybe you're feeling that you physically can't do something. Maybe this is starting to lighten up with Saturn stationing retrograde. You're able to revisit things that maybe you couldn't before, or things are coming up for you that maybe were hidden or uncovering themselves in some way, shape, or form. So let's have a look at what the oracle cards have in store for you, Pisces rising. Big picture thinking, Pleiades energy, visionary, inspired ideas. I absolutely love this energy, especially around this beautiful Mercury and Venus conjunction in your Cancer fifth house. This is really beautiful to tapping into that intuition, tapping into that creativity, very much this visionary, inspired ideas type of energy. So just really big picture thinking for this month for you, Pisces rising, especially with Jupiter in your fourth house of home and family. Maybe thinking big and looking at sort of ways that you can emphasize your home space to make it feel really aligned with you and feel really inspiring to you in some way, shape, or form. So all up for you, Pisces rising. This energy will be focusing on your creativity, your connection with your family, home, roots, ancestors, calling in new opportunities for your home and family life. There could be some new creative endeavors or opportunities that you're calling in, letting go or shifting and changing your connection with your finances in some way, shape, or form. And maybe even letting go of some old, outdated friendships that no longer feel aligned with you or supporting where you're wanting to go and where you're wanting to head in life.